Hi and welcome to my first segment of Carsen Couch Talk. I have today with me Momo and Deanna. We are all here today to talk about being motherless daughters. And it's a piggyback off of the book Motherless Memoirs of a Teenage Girl, written by myself. And so today we're just going to sit down and have a couch talk about those experiences that we've had growing up. Each lady has experienced a different situation, different segments of their lives. I lost my mother at 15. Momo lost her mother at 26. And Deanna lost her mother at 4. So we're just going to come together and share with one another, and we hope that you enjoy the experience. So, Momo, can you tell us what happened when you lost your mom?
So, I was 26. My mom passed away from a violent car, ran over her and another lady. So he ran over her head, and then he hit her, the other lady, into a tree. So that's how she passed. She passed on July 4th, 2009. And that's when the process began.
So you said July 4th, that was a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And so that to me would seem like, more traumatic, because it's like you're reliving every holiday. The same thing. Is that, how do you feel around the 4th?
Well, usually on the 4th, we're almost 10 years out, so it's different now than it was initially, of course. Initially, I didn't like the 4th anyways before, but on the 4th, it's always around the 4th, her birthday and Mother's Day, I seem to get my biggest poofs. So, July 4th, my son's birthday is 26th of June, and so right after, all the anxiety and emotions seem to come right after. So I get that big for him, and then the 27th, I'm like, July 4th is coming. And initially, I would just sit in the house. It was it was horrible. Me and my sister would try to come together, but it was just a bad day.
So you guys don't do anything to memorialize her death? Maybe go to her.
Oh, she's with us. We got her cremated.
Deanna, do you memorialize your mother? Well, first, tell us your experience.
Well, my mother was pregnant with my sister and brother, who are twins, of course. And she went in to give birth, and she gave birth, but she never came home. So she had some complications with her pregnancy. She had ulcers in her stomach, and I believe they ruptured while she was giving birth, and then an infection set in.
Okay.
And she didn't make it past the infection, So my sister and brother were born on September 24th, 1986, and she passed 6 days after.
Okay.
So me being 4 years old at the time, nobody wanted to tell me. You know what I mean? So I just remember going to the hospital because I was getting a new sister and brother. Mm-hmm. And I remember seeing them. They were born premature. They were in an incubator, and I couldn't see my mom. So I didn't. So when she left to go have the babies, that's the last time I saw her alive.
Okay. And
then when she did have the babies, she just wasn't coming home. Nobody was really telling me, you know what I mean? And I'm at a funeral, and I see my mom.
Wow.
So I don't know if they just didn't really know how to tell me, or what, but it's weird, you know what I mean? Because to this day, I have a really hard time attending funerals because I feel traumatized because I always see my mom. That's something that I could never let go. I don't know if it's because I was so young, you know what I mean? I didn't really know how to process it, but...
Well, I mean, they didn't prepare you either.
Yeah.
When you're properly prepared for a situation, you can kind of process it a little better. Mm-hmm. And I talked a little bit about that in my book. just, I think a lot of times what adults assume is that because this child is a child
You're
or a
protecting them.
teenager or whatever, is that they don't understand, or they're trying to protect them, or they just can't explain things. And so we end up kind of getting left out there, as opposed to really being walked through a process. And you know, I'm immensely sorry for that, because I can. I'm just thinking there's a lot of trauma, not just with funerals, having children, getting close to people. I know for me, I don't like when I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I hate that. I want to know.
I have to know. Yes.
And I always tell my children, you know, when we have tough situations, or, you know, there's things that most people may keep kids out of, I always try to explain it to them the best they can understand, because, you know, I'm still traumatized by that now. I'm 36 years old, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's good that you've taken that situation and you've realized, you know, what's the best method to go, you know.
And I don't fault, you know, my family members for not really telling me or explaining it to me, you know. And now that I'm an adult, I kind of understand. But if we could go back, and if I could be like a whisper in their ear, I would be like, tell this baby what's going on, you know.
Yeah, to help them understand.
Yeah, because like you said in your book, I don't think that they give kids enough credit, you know, like even though we're children, or even though we're young, or we may be teenagers, I still feel like it's our choice. And I feel like they didn't give me the choice. You know, I didn't get a chance to grieve. I didn't even know I was supposed to be grieving, you know. So even now, I still grieve, because I feel like I missed out on my chance to process it all. And I've been trying to process it ever since.
It's important to talk about it. And I think a lot of times you don't have the platform or the space or the people, the right people to talk to about it. It's a lot of times it's so hush-hush. It's because it's such a sensitive subject, you know, and people really don't know. I think people are already kind of looking.
Myself sometimes, like I try to make them be a little bit more tougher than the average kid, or a little bit more understanding about life and in your future than the average kid, because it just all hit me, and then it's like, okay, now you're here on your own. You know, I didn't have a father. My mother was the only child, so when my grandmother raised us, she died when I was 15, and then I was really like without anybody, you know. So I pour that on my kids sometimes, because I'm so scared that if something ever happens to me or their dad, like, they wouldn't be ready. And they're so spoiled. Sometimes it's like, maybe I shouldn't have spoiled them, because, you know, those spoiled kids, if something happens, they're totally lost. You know.
Well, it sounds like you're doing a really good job in preparing them, though. I don't doubt that.
And I hate to be the crybaby.
No, fine. I'm like,
but
let
it out.
You know, these feelings, you know, when I have an outlet like this, I just pour. Because it's, you know, my whole entire life I felt like I had to keep it in, you know. You don't want other people to know, you know.
When you have people in your life that's a tough lesson. What you're saying right now. And my mother would say it all the time to me, that, you know, a mother's love is something that you won't know until you become a mother. And you don't understand it, and you don't get it, and then you find yourself in our situations and you realize nobody will go to war for you. Nobody will go to bat for you.
And I learned that, you know.
And it's a tough lesson to learn. And it's not that you don't come across people in your life that do love you, that care a lot for you, and they are the best that they can be, but it's still not your money.
And with me, even when I would get close to people, or, you know, I would feel genuine love for people, I would always feel like at one point I'm going to lose that.
Mm.
You know, so even now I still kind of have those kind of reservations. I don't have any best friends, you know what I mean? I don't have these close relationships because I always fear that one day they'll be taken from me, you know, so that's something I've been dealing with too since I've been a small child. Like, I don't really get close to people. I don't let people in.
How is your relationship with your siblings?
That was my question.
My relationship with my siblings is better now than it was when we were growing up. I'm like extremely close with my sister. My brother and I, we're not as close as I would like for us to be, you know, but when you have to take the role as mother, you know, it kind of puts a strain on your relationship with your siblings because they see you as the sister, but you in turn have to be their mother because mother isn't here. And so, you know, it makes them resent me or angry. Well, I never had that. So it's like I always had to work hard.
You have to figure it out.
Because I felt like there was no fail.
Yeah.
Because if I fail, I'm going to stay there because I don't have anybody to help pull me up.
Okay.
And I kind of think my sister and brother may have felt some type of way when we were younger about that because I used to always be hard on them, you know.
Okay.
They really didn't have anybody because their mother was gone.
Yeah.
Our grandmother was gone. And then their father passed away shortly after our grandmother passed away. We have different fathers. So they really didn't have anybody but me, you know. So I always felt like I had to be the one, you know, to keep us together and protect them, you know.
Yeah. How are you and your siblings?
I'm the strong one of the bunch.
Where do you fall in line?
I'm the second oldest.
Okay.
It's hard being the oldest. I'm going to tell you right now.
Well, I'm the baby, so I have a different story.
Yeah.
It's hard being the oldest.
Yeah, my sister, her and I, we had some rocks and now we're kind of kinking them out.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to go to counseling for it.
Okay.
I'm happy we did, cause yeah.
Was it surrounding your mother's death, or was it?
I think with my brothers and sisters, everything falls back with them. Okay. Where me, I actually went to counseling and I had to deal with it. And since I'm the one who kind of took care of everything, my sister was there the whole time, but my mom knew what place I stood. And so I took care of the funeral. I got all the stuff worked up and, you know, all her estates and everything closed. I did all of that stuff.
Just my experience with working with a nonprofit organization, I'm dealing with seniors, and when, you know, illness was on the table or hospice pending death, it was like if they had 3 or more siblings, they were ghosts. Like, you couldn't find them. And it was always one that was frustrated, that was angry, you know, that was left to deal with it. And it's like everybody processes stuff differently, you know, so.
She was there. The sister was there. The boys was obsolete. They were like, not dealing with this.
Yeah.
We tried to invite them in. Yeah, it wasn't going to happen. But the sister, my older sister, definitely, we rode that train together. Like.
Okay, so we discussed about fears, and we're losing our mothers, you know, has taken our minds sometimes, and how we react in motherhood based on that. But what would your advice be? Or what would you say to a young lady or a young woman or even an older woman that is, you know, facing sickness with a parent, or they just lost one, or they know they're getting ready to?
That is on me. I would, if it's a younger girl, I would tell her, you know, just be strong and know that her mother is always and forever within her. She hasn't left. She's always going to be there, no matter what. And that's what keeps me going, you know, 32 years later. You know what I mean? So when people lose someone close to them, or if it's a parent or something like that, and I know them, I always tell them that, like, they're not gone, but they never want to hear that, you know. You know, at the initial onset of losing someone, you never want, like, what do you mean they're always here? But they are. Like, I feel my mother inside of me all the time. I feel my grandmother inside of me all the time. All the decisions I have made with them in mind. You know what I mean? So it's like they never leave you. They're always there. And if it was a younger child too, or a younger lady, I would always tell her, like, you don't have to feel like you are where you come from, or you are what you have been through. You know, your life and your destiny is in your hands. You choose it, you know, because I used to always feel like, well, I don't have a mother, so one day how will I know how to be one? Or, you know, I come from this certain situation, how will I know how to get out of that, or will I ever get out of that? And I have. You know, I've overcome so many obstacles. I'm not where I'm from, or I'm not what I've been through. I'm who I want to be, and I'm who I strive to be. So that's what I would tell someone who's dealing with losing a mother, you know, because those are the things your mother tells you your whole life.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like if I would have had a mother right now today, you know, if I'm having one of those moments, she'd be like, girl, come here, let mama talk to you, you know. And even though I don't have that in the flesh, I still feel like I have it in my spirit. You know, I have it in my heart. I've never lost it. Do you feel that?
I do. I do. It's when your room gets quiet and you've done the mothering and you're now it's just you and your brain. Then are moments you seek refuge, and you know you want to kind of let go and just not allow your mind to take over, and know that it's okay to grieve, it's okay to cry, it's okay to scream, it's okay to yell, it's okay to be angry. Like, when you have them feelings, let them go.
Just in closing, I think that I would share with a young lady or a woman that has lost a mother, like you said, Momo, she lives through you. The things that she passed on, even if, you know, it was for a brief moment in time, like Deanna, it's still something there. I believe it's something that is so beyond the physical. It's beyond words. It's beyond actions. It's a spiritual connection that you have, and that won't die as long as you're living. And to celebrate her in any way that you see fit, even if you feel like it's weird or over the top or, you know, funny, if it feels good to you, then to honor her in that way. So I want to thank you ladies for sharing. I had a beautiful time with you all. I hope that we all got something from it. We were able to gain some perspective and do some thinking and sharing, and we could apply it to our lives later on. So thank you.
You're welcome.